Welcome back, everybody. It's the Level Next Fall Champion Series. Pucking alongside one great user and Josh Lewin, and we just saw our first heat of action, but now it's time to fire up that second heat as we take a look one more time at the schedule. We got 3 heats of red zone coverage coming at you before the big match of the week. Looking pretty is the Tennessee Volunteers' Connor Myers sitting at 6-0, taking on Zachary Berenberg from Florida in the big one at 10 p.m. But speaking of our heats, let's get into Heat 2 as we take a look at the showdowns one more time. Before the break, we mentioned it. It's an undefeated battle between West Virginia and Oklahoma. That's definitely going to be the match of the heat. But right below it, Georgia and Texas A&M, very similar records. This is going to be a super important matchup that has you fired up, Josh.
Yeah, and don't go to sleep on that Baylor against Texas one. And Texas Tech, by the way, is 4-0. K-State is 0-4. And from what I understand, Sebastian Taylor is not a bad player, but he's gotten out here 0-4 for Kansas State. So if you're looking for, I guess, a mild upset or the chance of one, let's see if K-State can hang with currently undefeated Red Raider Nation, Texas Tech.
Love to see it. User, we've seen some great players so far today, but as you are scouting out all of these college students to see if any of them will make it into the big leagues one day there with the MCS, what are you looking for from these players? Is it just strong offense, good decision making? What are you scouting tonight?
I want to see if, these guys are going to be running the meta. And the game that I'm kind of looking forward in this heat is the UNC Charlotte and Houston. I may be biased because it's UNC Charlotte. Yes, it's right around here. If it's some nice competition around here, I want to see it. Maybe I can groom them like, Oscar De La Hoya did, what's my guy, Money Mayweather.
There you go. Money Mayweather. He's got so much cash. I'm jealous every night thinking about it. Speaking of cash, Mike Tyson made some. If you guys missed the draw, go back and watch Iron Mike. And Iron Mike would love to see this prize money coming in for the college kids. $150,000 up for grabs in our tournament. I guess we're walking you through the format one more time, gentlemen. So if you're just joining us, let's catch them up, Josh. We already did the qualifiers. We're in conference play where they're playing on and off camera for 4 straight weeks, but you got to finish in your top 4 if you want to make it into those conference championships.
That's right. And then when we get all the way to the middle of January, that's where that 150 large, or as Mike Tyson calls it, tip money, that's where that starts to show up. And we're almost, it's weird to think about it because we've all been working so hard and spending so long putting this together. We're inside of about 5 weeks of crowning a champion already. So this is going by pretty quickly.
It is. I'm fired up for January. Those are going to be some exciting dates, all back to back to back. If you haven't already checked out the schedule, make sure you're dropping a follow on the channel and follow Level Next all over our social media, because here's a look at how it's been breaking down so far. In the Big 12, a lot of schools, they've played 6 games. Big 12, well, they're getting in their 4th game tonight. Texas 3-0. Texas Tech 3-0. West Virginia and Oklahoma also 3-0, all in their conference play. A lot of shakeups could happen with tonight's results, so some big games on the line, and we will be checking out the SEC as well throughout this heat. You're going to see the Georgia versus Texas A&M match. Currently, those squads sitting at 5 and 7, looking to climb our leaderboard. As we keep it rolling here, gentlemen, you can see it's Kentucky and Tennessee, both 6-0 with Vanderbilt right there with them. Tennessee has a chance to be the first team to go 7-0. And user, just thinking that the conferences here are going to be 4 weeks long, what do you think is like a comfortable record at the end of this? Do you need to just avoid 5 losses, keep it under 4? What are you thinking here?
Hey, that's never a good way to think if you're trying to find, what's the comfortable spot. Win every ball game. Win every game, players like it's the championship, because if you do that, it could be a situation where you're put out because, point differential, you and some other guy has the same record and you didn't give it your all every game.
That makes sense. We're going to kick things off here in the second heat right away. It's going to be a first down for Oklahoma playing as Tampa Bay as they face off against West Virginia running Green Bay.
And Jonathan Tran, the guy we've been talking about for Oklahoma. What a great lineage at Oklahoma when you talk about college football. You want to go back to Leroy Selman and Billy Sims if you want to do that, but more recently Adrian Peterson and all the Heisman guys, or Baker Mayfields, or Kyler Murrays. But Jonathan Tran, user, I mean, you've seen him already. This is a guy who comes all the way from Seattle, plunks himself down in the middle of Oklahoma to kick it as an engineering major, and just kind of changing his life out a little bit, and finds time to get going on the Madden circuit. He can really play.
Yeah, that's a hot one that he just came through there with that post out of slot. You know, but last week, Josh, you wasn't here, and Jonathan Tran, he should have got popped. But Puck it in the chat, man. They had so much voodoo going that game.
We had his back.
And somehow he came back and won. And now he's 4-0 facing Alex. I want to see if he can continue and carry that momentum that he got from the chat last week.
That's that Lord Kev mojo. He's tight with the rapper, Lord Kev. I mean, he's got a lot of people on his side. And Oklahoma against West Virginia, by the way, I go back long enough. I'm like 100 years old, but that was one of the great Fiesta Bowls of all time. Ooh, nice hit right there near the goal line. That's not a touchdown. That was a crazy 48-28 game, West Virginia, with Pat White. Oklahoma had Sam Bradford back then. The guy they called the beer truck, Owen Schmidt, was the fullback running back for West Virginia. Now, of course, they get to go at it for real. In fact, they're going to play in about a week and a half in Morgantown, now that they're actually in the same conference. But West Virginia, Oklahoma, when they got together a dozen years ago, was a great football game in Phoenix. Right here, they're playing it, well, theoretically in Detroit. They're playing at Ford Field. And Howard, trying to score him across, is not going to get that score quite yet. 2nd and goal.
User, is this a regular play? Are you always putting your tight end as your fullback here?
Well, it all depends. If I don't have two running backs, then I'm going to put my fastest tight end at fullback. So that's not normal. It all depends on the roster that I have to deal with.
All right,
O.J. Howard, yeah, so not O.J. Simpson. That's O.J. Howard who's going to run that ball in. And an extra point coming. It's good. 7-0 in that one.
All right, Josh, I'll let you take this away as we go to the 2 box on your left. We have the start here of Georgia versus Texas A&M.
Yeah, I like this matchup. This is Joe Kopcho for Georgia against Matthew Dean of A&M. And a couple sophomores having at it here as we run Seattle against Green Bay. And as we've talked about, user, I guess that the most popular teams that we're seeing really are Seattle, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. Is there a mystery team out there that you're surprised more people aren't going with?
I was expecting to see more Kansas City, but, you know, they don't really have that good of a defense, so I understand. And, you know, maybe these guys, they really don't know how to use Tyreek to his fullest ability. We'll see.
Seattle, with an 86th grade overall, they go 90 on offense, 81 on defense. And so much of that is Russell Wilson, obviously, for that overall 90 grade. That's a nice look right there defensively, by the way, for A&M.
Speaking of Russell's, Russell Westbrook just got traded to the Wizards for John Wall, for any NBA fans out there.
Wow.
Come on. You just make that up?
Nope, that's real.
No way. See, I thought all we'd missed was that Sunday night, Wednesday afternoon NFL game today, and now you're telling me there's breaking NBA news.
That was so nice. 4 p.m. I turned on the TV and the Ravens are playing. It's like, we need more of this. Wednesday night football, I'm here for it.
It was like an after-school special. That's back when I was a kid. This ball over the middle and completed. It's a nice little drive right here going on for Georgia. I always think of Herschel Walker when I think of Georgia. That's how old I am. But I know they had Matthew Stafford not too long ago. He can put it in the air just fine.
And speaking of Herschel Walker, user, he is one of the players that just got released as part of the Campus Heroes promo. What have you seen on the Herschel Walker card? One of my favorite running backs growing up. Are you happy to see the man with the card in the game now?
Oh, yeah, Herschel, this is a nice card. You know, he's got 92 speed stock. You know, then you put the brawl on him, he's 94 speed. I'm not too sure what type of running back he is. I think he's probably going to be, let me check his offense. He's a power back. So, you know, he might be the best power back that they've came out with right now. I wouldn't say he is the best power back because, you know, everybody's been using Reggie Bush and receiving running back, but it's nice to switch it up and have somebody that can pound the ball in there. I think he's a little bit better than Bo Jackson.
There we go.
Yeah, I compare the Barry Sanders card, I think, is probably a comp as well. But either way, I love this Georgia A&M matchup in general. This was a really interesting game on the field last year. It was almost an upset. Georgia almost took him down. Or excuse me, A&M almost took him down. Georgia was ranked, what, 4th in the nation at that point, and A&M came really close to an upset. As Carson gets decked, it's a long drive. They're going to take this whole first quarter here, user, to go on down the field.
Yeah. You know, I've been paying attention to this game. Matthew is 3-3. And I'm watching his defense. I'm like, yo, he's getting adjusted. He's working with his zone drops. He's audibly putting his safeties in spots versus the run. I really want to see his offense. For him to be 3-3, he has good defense. So I'm wondering why, you know, he's 3-3. It could be because of his offense.
Sorry for the stutter there, guys. I got my video to work, and it's a touchdown and a handstand coming in from Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams is a showpiece player right there.
Back over to Georgia, Texas A&M.
And this time-consuming drive continues. Russell Wilson with the protection he needs, finding DK Metcalf, who lost the football. Oh, that hit stick was used beautifully, and Green Bay recovers.
I'm saying, fuck it, I was seeing something. I said, Matthew, man, he's making some plays. He just, unfortunately, he hadn't got that stop yet. And therefore, he got a big hit stick, even though he left the middle of the field wide open. But what to stick up for himself and punch him in the chest.
And
now, what is the percentage on that? Sorry to interrupt there. What is the percentage of actually making the fumble on one of the strongest receivers in the game?
I don't think it's that high. You know, the funny thing about the patches, man, the fumbles, the way it happened, you have a patch and they say, okay, fumbles is happening too much, and then they turn it down. It seems like they don't fumble at all. And then they have another patch, and then the fumbles get turned back up. So it really all depends. You know, we had a patch yesterday, so it could be because of the patch.
There we go.
That was a hit that Von Miller would have been proud of back in the day at A&M. And this thing stayed scoreless into the second quarter. With Aaron Rodgers at the controls here for Matthew Dean of Texas A&M, sophomore business major out of suburban Houston, Spring, Texas, where there's a blackout apparently.
Yeah, we don't want to see that play. It got a little gory, guys, kind of like Dak Prescott's ankle. We'll cut away from that one. Let's go to West Virginia, Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma with the ball, and this could be another Mike Evans catch.
Jonathan Tran, you got something here for us? Nope, gonna fire it out of bounds. Alex Oates representing West Virginia. From Kaiser, West Virginia, John Kruk's hometown, if you're a baseball fan. Alex Oates, a fan of the Baltimore Ravens, who, spoiler alert, if you were not watching Wednesday afternoon football, they came close, but fell just short of the Steelers, who stay undefeated. I don't know about you, user. I didn't see that coming, Pittsburgh being undefeated.
At the beginning of the year, I said they were washed, and now I'm looking like I don't know football at all because they're 11-0.
Brady back for Oklahoma into coverage, picked off by Savage. And it's West Virginia with control of the football now with about 3.5 to go second quarter.
Yeah, Alex is running that Mabel look, you know, and Mabel is a flat and a purple or a blue and a purple on each side, you know, basically daring him to throw it inside the middle. And that's what happened when, you know, Jonathan Trent's going toward that sideline. That sideline is not going to be open with those zone drops in that Mabel coverage.
7 up at Ford Field in Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, West Virginia, Oklahoma. And Aaron Rodgers to work. Aaron Jones trying to turn the corner, gets dragged down. I haven't really seen a big run popped in Heat 1 or Heat 2 yet. We've seen some big pass plays, but I haven't seen that big burst of a 50 or 60-yard run from anybody.
Yeah, Jacob broke one off, but he was already up a zillion by that time, you know.
Yep, that's right. We did see that one. Not a game-breaking play, though. You're right. Over the middle, and Irvin fights for the first down here. West Virginia trying to move the ball. 2:45 left in the half. There a secret to penetrating this Tampa Bay defense, user? You talked about the balance that team gives you if you play them head-to-head.
I mean, I think they're weak in the secondary. You know, they have good strong front seven, but I think they're weak in the secondary. So, you know, I would try to pass more. You know, look at what
we're seeing. Yeah. We're just seeing so many tackles from Devin White, who was a very popular Madden card not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Understandably.
I'm surprised he hasn't got an upgrade this year. You know, because usually he's one of the fastest linebackers that we use him for. But
2-minute warning here in the first half. West Virginia and Oklahoma. Alex Oates and Jonathan Tran, a couple of good Madden players having at it. Which is why we're kind of lingering on this one. We haven't forgotten our red zone coverage. We'll start to zip you around a little bit. Let's see what Aaron Jones can do.
Right.
Turning that corner. There's one of the bigger runs of the afternoon and evening.
You know, both of these guys 4-0 do not want to take their L. You know, but these could be the final two guys at the end of this conference that make it to the Nationals.
Jones gets dragged down. Anything that you can see to get Gronkowski or Brate, those tight ends involved here? We haven't seen a pass to them yet.
Nah, he's just running a stretch bubble. You know, in a stretch bubble, it's a difficult play if you don't respect the bubble screen. So there it is.
Got good tight ends for Green Bay too, and of course a great wide receiver in Devontae Adams.
All right, user, is he drawing out the clock here, or is he actually just trying to go for one big play? What are you seeing?
It looks like he's just taking what he's getting, you know, what he's given. He's running the ball, trying to make him respect the bubble if the bubble isn't there, and just basically milking the clock and running the ball, taking what he's getting, not looking for a big play.
And user, he barely got the first down right there. That's huge, because now you can run a couple plays and take it almost down to halftime if you don't get it in right away.
Yeah, he can burn off 120 seconds. If I'm not mistaken.
Slot left, that's Adams in the slot. Oh, and Jones over. So there you go. They don't milk a lot of time, but they do get the 6 they wanted.
Yeah, it looks like he gave him that touchdown to me, you know. And sometimes you be in that situation like, you know, well, I'm going to go ahead and let him score. I'm not going to burn any more of my timeouts. I got one left. Let me go ahead and let him score. He's at the 1. You know, most likely me holding this door isn't going to happen. Let me get this ball back and try to make something happen.
Let's take our screen over to Georgia Live, guys. This is Texas A&M trying to put it in the end zone. Also, shout out to the chat, guys. We do have another giveaway coming up. If you need a power rusher, stay tuned. We'll tell you all about them in a moment, maybe after this touchdown.
Yeah, knocking on the door here in a scoreless game with Texas A&M trying to maneuver on top, and Aaron Jones cannot break through.
And this is what I want to see. I want to see Matthews' offense because his defense has been solid. I'm trying to pick up why he's 3-3.
Couple of young players here. Got a freshman against a sophomore. Georgia against Texas A&M. And can somebody puncture that goal line before we get to halftime here? You like it? Ooh, Jones barely across with time left on the clock for a counter strike, by the way.
Smart play call, inside zone, you know. Try to make him think he's going to do a bubble screen.
Nailed that extra point. 7-0. Texas A&M on top for Matthew Dean.
All right, gentlemen, let's break away from that for a moment as the kickoff continues. David Pollock is going to be the next card up for grabs. I want to give a big shout out, guys, not to just everyone watching here on EA Madden NFL, but also the folks over in Level Next GG's chat. So far, we had Level Next chat, the winner, DJ Shano84, picking up the war card, as did WM Jet 1 here in the EA Madden NFL channel. Congrats on your wins. We got 2 more cards going out, guys. We'll let you know in the chat if you won. Keep an eye on your inbox. It's time to go back to the games, though, as we kick it over. It's going to be, looks like Charlotte versus Houston. Another big matchup, both in the South region. You got to finish in the top 2 in a region if you want to make it to the conference and regional championship. So a lot of pressure on both these players, currently sitting at 4-2.
Well, a lot of pressure on John Pruitt from Charlotte to represent, because one great user, proudly a Charlotte guy himself, and they can't play this one at Jerry Richardson Stadium on campus, user. There's no possibility of that. But I love the UNC Charlotte program because they've only been around since 2013. I mean, this school went completely dark for football in 1948 through 2012, and they've already come back with guys like Nate Davis and Cameron Clark. I mean, they've got some talented kids that have come through that program for Coach Will Healy. So I love that they're competing on the football field again.
Yeah, I appreciate you fixing it up because it sounded like for a second you was about to be slandering UNC Charlotte, you know.
No. The exact opposite, as a matter of
when
fact.
You said we went dark. You know,
no.
like, hold on now.
Well, they didn't play for 64 years at all. So the fact that they're back, and by the way, driving right here on a Houston team, now that's a great program. 27 bowl games. And of course, recently they produced guys like Ed Oliver and William Jackson. You go back to Andre Ware, who won a Heisman. Rich history there. And a touchdown for Charlotte.
Yeah, and I like John Pruitt, man. His offense that he just put together right there for that 7, man. If y'all notice his reads that he ran I forgot his tight end pivot play. Good read, took the check down, the whip route up underneath. Then he ran mesh post, hit the post over the middle. I like it.
Austin Hernandez playing for Houston, by the way. As we get back to Georgia and Texas A&M, the toe drag catch by Lockett. Is Georgia, with 54 seconds left in the half, trying to get down and even this game.
Let's see if Matthew's
Joe Copshow at the controls here for Georgia, by the way.
Like I said last time I saw Matthew on defense, his defense looked pretty good. See if he can hold it up, but he just gave up a bomb. What happened to his safety?
Oh, DK Metcalf under the rainbow touchdown, and the extra point will tie it up.
I can't tell, Chad. Was there safety in the deep blue, or did he put him in the hook curl? Because the last time he showed it, well, he had to put him in the hook curl. The way he just stood there and got floated on.
Matthew Dean was ahead, now finds himself tied. A game that we were really looking forward to. We thought it would be close, and sure enough it is. This one, too. This is our other marquee game, user. West Virginia and Oklahoma.
As you see Alex, he's still running the ball, stretch bubble, continuing where we saw him get 7 the first time. You know, I want to see if Jonathan Trent is going to make the adjustment, you know. Obviously, Alex liked it. That's why he keeps running it. He's not respecting the bubble. Because if he was respecting the bubble, he wouldn't keep running it. So
we are seeing Antoine Winfield Jr. make play after play after play, the strong safety for Tampa Bay. This, by the way, heat number 2. If you're just joining us, we had a fun first heat tonight. Looking forward to coming back a week from tonight with more and more action. This is becoming a Wednesday night staple here on Twitch. Glad you found it.
People are all open. He just don't know who to throw it to. Fumble.
Yeah, Rogers takes a shove. Tampa Bay recovers. And Oklahoma, early here in the third quarter, will get the football back.
Can I get a prediction right now, user? It's 14-10 between 2 undefeated teams. Who wins this one? Is it going to be Oklahoma's Jonathan Trent, or do you got Alex Oates from West Virginia?
Can I see this offensive drive first?
No.
It says no. I would say I'm gonna go with Alex Oates. I'm gonna go with him.
Oh, West Virginia. Okay, chat. What do you think about that prediction? And then user, I'll let you chime back in after this offensive drive. How's that sound?
I knew that user would go there because that would get a reaction out of the chat because Jonathan Tran brings it in the chat.
And the reason why, I mean, okay, yes, Alex just turned the ball over, but he had people open. And maybe he just had a brain collapse, you know, a brain fart at the moment that, you know, hey, I'm just going to miss my reads. And yeah, he shouldn't have slid. So to me, that was just a terrible play all around for him. And him to be 4-0, he's not making plays like that on the regular.
All right, let's see if Jonathan Tran can do the impossible and shut up user. As Mike Evans will take it at the 15-yard line. Now, there's still a lot of football here, and there's 3:37 left in the third. So, in fairness, I think it's a coin flip prediction right now, right? I mean, this is a game that literally could go either way.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm against Jonathan Tran.
Right.
I'm just saying, hey, at the end of the day, I think Alex is going to put it together.
I was going to say, Jonathan Tran has enough support here from Profligate Soul, DJ, and so many more in our Level Next GG chat. I think we needed a little bit of love for Alex there, and it looks like he could be behind here shortly.
There's so many West Virginia Mountaineers on the Carolina Panthers. I thought that's why user would go for Alex Oates. And looky here, squirming across is Ronald Jones for the touchdown.
Yeah, that should have been covered. Obviously, he doesn't have his zone drop set right, even though it said hard flat and curl flat.
Saul Douglas, Kenny Robinson, Will Greer. That's at least 3 West Virginia guys on the Panthers that I can think of. So, see, that should tip the scales for Alex Oates. In user's very Carolina mind. All right, ball near midfield here in the Charlotte-Houston game.
Let's see if John Pruitt has some defense, because I know he got the offense.
Do we have a weather delay in this one? We're 51 seconds left in the first quarter. You're in a dome, so I guess not.
Gentlemen, I got to chime in here. We got our man
hang on.
It's going to the box. Don't worry about it.
Carlton, yeah.
To the
Green's
Baja,
gonna
right?
take it in.
To the Baja.
Get your Baja Blast ready to celebrate that one there. Wintgoat is back, user, and he just informed me we have 2 club Final 8 competitors here in this Houston-Charlotte game.
Let me guess, John Pruitt?
Well, they're both. Yeah, John Pruitt and Austin Hernandez. There's only 2 players. They're both in it. Top 8 finalists.
Well, you know, you keep hitting me with all these questions, and math majors, listen, I'm not the one in college, because if I was in college, I would be playing for 150,000. You saw the chat said earlier you asking me percentages and stuff. No, I don't do the math. I play the game.
You play to win the game. And Austin Hernandez, by the way, this is a guy that right now I know is down 14-0, but he's a pretty talented guy. Graphic design dude, very talented at that. Biology major, so you know he's got to be pretty smart. That ball tipped and incomplete. So right now Austin Hernandez in a little bit of trouble against Charlotte's John Pruitt in the latest starting of our second heat games. Brady's got his man.
That's 6.
Godwin is going to get, yeah, I think you're going to be right. Touchdown, Tampa Bay, and they're right back in it.
Yeah, you know, when you run that cover 2, you risk that chance, especially when you're going with trips tight end. It's too spread. If you ask me, trips tight end is too spread to run cover 2, especially if you're not going to have a deep third down there. It's no way you're going to be able to get back, cover that tight end crossover hitch, and get back to a streak down the middle.
Let's get back to Texas A&M versus Georgia here. Just 3 points separating the 2 teams, but it's Texas with the ball again.
At Lambeau Field. And yeah, Texas A&M and Georgia, we love this matchup coming in. 4-2 against 3-3. A couple of good young competitors here. Joe for Georgia, Matthew for A&M.
Matthew Dean in that Carolina book, running that bunch offset. Just mesh post, you cook up, let's see.
Williams motioning out of that, trips on the left. Rogers looking right, a dart in there to Aaron Jones, who will get it to the 32.
Matthew Dean, he's pretty solid, man. He's not bad. Run, come here. He got a touchdown.
Oh, yes, he did. He found Devontae Adams. Texas A&M gave Georgia all it could handle on the field a year ago. And here in Madden, same story. 17-7 if this extra point is good, and it is.
And this is a game Matthew needs to win. He doesn't need to get too far behind, because Joseph is 4-2 and he's 3-3. You know, if he wins this game, he'll even up the record between them guys.
Late third quarter of this one, West Virginia and Oklahoma. Not quite a kill shot here if Oklahoma sticks it in, but they'd be in great shape as Fournette will take it down to the 1. And again, these teams will actually play in just 10 days. Set to go in Morgantown. What a great spot to watch some college football.
This is a big down right here. Alex has to stand up and hold the door right here. He need to run, commit, do something. He has to fight. Because if he goes down 10, it's going to be a real uphill battle for him.
You hold him to a field goal here, we got ourselves a heck of a finish. Ronald Jones is the I-back here.
Oh, man.
And it's Howard, the tight end, as a fullback who will push across. That's huge.
And you know, Josh, I don't like the fact that Puckett put me on the spot, tell me to choose a guy. I gotta see this, and we doing red zone, so I'm missing half the games. I'm only seeing highlights. Now I'm looking like I'm making uninformed decisions.
Do you want me to tell you I picked Jonathan Tran? Because I was right there with the rest of the chat, man. Let's jump over. This is Georgia, Texas A&M. The Bulldogs looking to answer back after falling behind 10. And speaking of Bulldogs, we were telling you that David Pollock card was going out. We'll announce those winners here in just a moment, but first let's finish this drive.
All right, starting up the fourth quarter of this one. And down 10. No, not anymore. Getting closer with that beautiful pass to DK Metcalf. And this is a precise score where things ended up in the A&M Georgia game a year ago. Just reverse it. Let's see if Myers can blast that extra point. And sure enough, 17-14 now. Anybody's ball game. No prediction being asked for at this point.
User, who's going to win that? All right, before we get to that answer, let's shout out the card that is being dropped right now. We've got two winners, one in each chat over on Level Next GG. Shout out to my man Brian Chuckles, who just collected a new Power Rusher. Hey. And, of course, over here in the EA Madden NFL channel, Cold Steel 925 is adding David Pollock, the three-time All-American who had 36 college stacks over there in Georgia, to his MUT lineup. Pretty awesome stuff. Let's jump back into the games. User, did you want to give me that prediction? You want to talk about what's happening here? It's 14-14 with Charlotte and Houston.
Yeah, I like my guy, John Pruitt, to get the job done. But shout out to my guy, Brian Chuckles on that giveaway win, man. That's one of my mods in my chat, man.
Love that.
We got mod luck out here.
Let's go, Chuck.
This is a nice little comeback, by the way, for Houston. Remember, this was 14-0 for the John Pruitts last time we checked in. But now he's trying to come on back. He's got the ball well positioned at the 11-yard line going in. Only 16 seconds left in the half. Will he go end zone right away?
Oh.
Trying to. Yes, he threaded the needle, got it in there for the touchdown.
That is a dot. John, I didn't know you had it in you, man.
Well, Jamal Williams touchdown right there. So it looks like it's going to be a one-score game at the break. Every time we join a game, Mason Crosby's kicking an extra point. And right now, Green Bay about to get the ball back in this one. Georgia kicking off, having just made this a 17-14 game. Onside.
No chance.
No, that's kind of a surprising move there, isn't it?
Yeah, especially, he just went down and got 6. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. Maybe he feel like he can't stop him.
Alan Lazard with these sticky fingers there to give Green Bay the short field here. They take over near the 40-yard line. Oh. And Jones breaks a tackle, and he'll just mash his way to the 25. He's rushed 12 times with Jones in this game, as our good buddy Matthew Dean at A&M.
Yeah, Matthew needs to close this game out. I like the fact him running the ball on 1st and 10. Try to keep that clock going.
Yep, we're down to 4:25 to go. And he can keep running clock. Here's the smart, right? Just kind of come to the line and take it on down. With Jones. Nice swivel. Nice. 1st and goal, Green Bay.
Yeah, no, Josh, I don't know if you got a chance to see the MCS games yesterday, man. Wesley coming out of half, man, it had to be the best milk drop I've ever seen in a live, club game. He milked it from half all the way to like 1:30 left in the game.
That's amazing.
There's an absolute art to that. I mean, I know it cheeses off your opponent. And boy, he might have a chance to milk a little bit now because he's going to get this down to the 1. It's only second down, so you could probably take this down to close to the 2-minute warning before you pop it in and seal the game.
Yeah, you could.
Chat's calling touchdown next play, says Self Messiah.
Did the producer tell you that again?
No, that's Self Messiah. He's my oracle, baby. And Self Messiah was wrong. Ignore him.
And again, not a tragedy. As long as you know you've got a touchdown in you, one of the next 2 plays here, right? I mean, you can't come away with nothing. And he won't. He will get the 6 right there. Under 3 minutes left now. I think that's perfectly done.
Yeah, nice call, Power O. Most of the time, if they blow up the fullback chat, you know that Power O should be able to punch it in there.
Another Mason Crosby look. And another extra point is good. So a 10-point swing in this one.
We're going to jump out of this, gentlemen, with a 10-point lead. Texas A&M looking pretty. So is Oklahoma's Jonathan Tran at the moment. Is he adding more points? Not quite yet. Up by 10, though, over West Virginia.
Yeah, it's 24-14 everywhere you look in Heat 2. And Jonathan Tran, who, as we've talked about, has a great start going here, undefeated, but so is Alex Oates of West Virginia. It's the ultimate something's got to give game here, and here's a big 3rd and 3. Woo! There's way more than 3 for Ronald Jones.
Yeah, did you see Alex, man? He's struggling to stop Jonathan. And once again, I saw him in that cover 2. And he wasn't able to respect the run because he's worried about getting beat down the middle on that streak that he already gave up 6 on.
All 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. But you got to make a stop here. And there's a good trip up in the backfield. That was a necessary element. Darius Smith.
Yeah.
All right, so in the battle of undefeateds, really it comes down right now, user, to whether or not Jonathan Tran gets a first down.
Yeah, he's in full control of this. You know, him being up 10, with the ball.
Boy, some good tackle breaking right there for an extra yard or 2. Big 3rd and 2 coming.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Rojo looks like one of the best running backs in the game right
now. Solid offensive line, yeah. There's the carry, stretching, got it. And that should be game, set, match.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Alex is going to burn the timeouts. He's just like, hey, man, you know, it is what it is. He knows it. He knows the game.
That is a little bit surprising if you take all 3 timeouts over to the dessert cart with you. But yeah, it doesn't look like he'll use them. Doesn't look like Green Bay will rally. And West Virginia is going to lose to Oklahoma. There you go. Knees are being taken. And Jonathan Tran, indeed, stays undefeated here.
The chat champion getting the job done, gentlemen. He's going to improve to 5-0. Has total control right now of the Big 12. Alex Oates, though, only drops down to 4-1. That's going to be good enough to put him in the top 4 as of now. Remember, at the end of it all, you got to be in the top 4 for your conference. I fully expect both of these gentlemen to be there in our conference championships in about 3 weeks.
Yep, Jonathan Tran getting it done, the Seattle, Washington native. Now kicking it in Norman, Oklahoma, where they do love their Sooners. And the Sooners are being well represented by Mr. Tran. A 24-14 final. And what else we got? 21-14 in this one, huh? With still plenty of time to go.
John Pruitt and Austin Hernandez, both of these guys, you know, MCS club finalists. See if we can see how, you know, even though they didn't make their club, let's see, you know, they still got what it takes.
And that's a long road to travel, right, user? I mean, you don't just pop in, you know, become a first or second Madden year player. And, ooh, that ball's picked, isn't it? What a great use of timing right there to take it away for Charlotte and Jonathan Pruitt. But, you know, I mean, I know every once in a while you get some magic, somebody who just breaks into Madden will shimmy up that ladder. But it usually takes a couple of years to get established, right?
Yeah, it usually does, you know, like a lot of people say, well, Henry, you know, he just shot on the scene. Well, no, Henry couldn't play, you know, professionally until he was 16. So we saw him, you know, doing things when he was 14 and 15, like, you know, when he turned 16. Same thing with Drini. You know, we knew Drini was going to be good as soon as he became of age.
That's the thing. I mean, it's just like in tennis, right? Sometimes there are these prodigies, or in golf, you're 14, 15 years old, and it's like, wow, they are really going to be great. But, you have to be patient enough to wait for the game to catch up to you a little bit.
Yeah, and being consistent and keep grinding like Wesley. They spoke about it on yesterday. Wesley, he's a guy that should be winning a belt, and he's real good. He's always been in the last 3 years. He's been like top 10 player, but he just hasn't had the success that he should have. And they're wondering,
He's
could
not,
this
not
be?
even old enough to vote yet, though.
Yeah,
I mean, his time's coming.
yeah, they're wondering if this could be his time.
Plenty of time left in this one. Charlotte and Houston was our late kick. And already a lot of the other games in this bracket have gone to final. Haven't heard the results yet from Kansas and TCU, or Baylor and Texas. We'll get you caught up. Texas Tech and Kansas State also in this bracket. We've been paying a lot of attention to Georgia and Texas A&M, the West Virginia versus Oklahoma battle. And this one, non-conference, UNC Charlotte against Houston, as Devontae Adams takes it out of bounds.
And as you see, John Pruitt is in that bunch offset. That's that Carolina book. That's double post. That play right there is one of the best plays in Madden 21. Drag the slot, make the read between the drag and the C route. And as you see, if you see the drag is covered, most likely, unless they're them running a Mabel, that C route, that corner route is going to be open.
I kind of like this silent game, guys, with no crowd noise. Do you think this is what it's like to actually play in the NFL in 2020?
Yeah, Bill Belichick said it was like practice.
Got a 2nd and 7 here in a 21-14 game between Charlotte and Houston.
Uh-oh.
And Pruitt has Rodgers take the big-time sack, and Ndamukong Suh will show up, the Nebraska product.
That's big.
Knocks him back to a 3rd and 15. And I'm interested. I was going to ask you, user, you were just talking about getting a sense of what plays to call and when, what makes sense against a certain defense. As much as Henry, for example, at the ripe old age of 15, was figuring some of that stuff out, don't you agree that now that he's 17, turning 18, I mean, it's kind of obvious, I would think, right? I mean, like anything else in life, the more you do it, the more you get that stuff just kind of innately understood, right? I mean, you don't expect somebody at 15 to have the whole playbook figured out.
No. I mean, the thing about it, these guys, they'll have the playbook figured out. It's more about, like, for instance, right there before the game switch, he had to settle for 3. He ran flood, and he had, big hit stick.
Lockett just got annihilated.
Yeah, he had flood. The out route was open, but, he just didn't trust it and didn't make the right read. So, therefore, he has to settle for 3. And when you're playing against a top Madden player, you cannot miss reads like that. You have to get 7 every time. I remember being in a Discord with Skimbo, and he would sit there and just drill that into my head like, hey, you have to get 7 every time. And he would be mad if he did not get 7.
Aaron Jones wisely staying in bounds here. Texas A&M with Matthew Dean rolling, trying to build on a 24-14 lead and looking for the kill shot now. Always love this look at Lambeau Field. I know that the fans aren't really there like this right now, but what a great look that is from this angle. See a Lambeau leap coming here for Jones. It's possible. He scores. And that's going to wrap it up for A&M.
Matthew Dean, he needed this win. He needed to bounce back. He needed to make sure he was going to be in that top 4 in the conference.
This will make both of these players 4 and 3, guys.
There we go. Big improvements to the leaderboard. That's what it's all about here in the 4 weeks of conference play. We go back to Houston and Charlotte. Houston down by 10 now.
This is the heat of 24-14. I swear, every one of these games at some point is 24-14. And a chance for Houston to try to carve its way back in it. Austin Hernandez is the man at the controls, and a pretty pass to Howard.
Yeah, John Pruitt, he was playing good defense when he first started off. And remember, he was up 14. And then all of a sudden, he let my guy come back and tie the game up. Let Austin come back and tie the game up. Now it seems like he's playing real safe, just trying to get out the ball game.
Brady had a good pocket. There's Howard again, stays inbounds. We got ourselves a little ball game here. If this drive ends up with a touchdown, I like the way this finishes up.
Austin out here in that trips tight end.
Haven't had an overtime yet, by the way. Look at that dot in there to O.J. Howard.
All right, user, I think I just watched a man get abused 3 times with the same play on that drive. How does he stop that moving forward? Because if I'm Houston's Austin Hernandez, I'm not going away from that play.
You know, I would expect nothing less from the legend Puckett. You know what I'm saying? Just being a great
just keep
gamer.
throwing rock. Just keep throwing rock.
You just being a great gamer. You picked up on it like, man, didn't he just get hit up the seam 3 times in a row? Yes, you are correct. But my guy, like I said, John Pruitt, he hasn't made the adjustment, and I feel like he was just trying to play safe. And sometimes when you play safe, you end up giving up, you know, an easy pass like that 3 times in a row because you don't want to let them hang and mix up their defense or send a blitz.
Austin Hernandez was trailing this game 14-0 at one point. 24-21 now, late stages of the third quarter. We'll get you updated on the other games in the bracket in just a bit. They've all pretty much finished up. This was the one that started late. And now we get to hang with what looks like a very fun finish.
Nice.
Can he find Adams? Got that secure catch locked in right on the sideline. And that's a 15 out of 18 we see for John Pruitt using this Green Bay offense and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he had both safeties. He ran cover 2-man and put both safeties in a purple and just waited for that smart route, corner route to get past him and float it down the field. Nice play.
All right, we're going to go to the fourth quarter here in a 24-21 game. This is not exactly an old school rivalry. Charlotte and Houston have never met on the football field. We got Baylor playing Texas in this bracket. We got Kansas and TCU. I mean, we got teams that are familiar with each other, but this is a new one, Charlotte and Houston, and this ends up being a really good battle.
This could be a big play that they're going for right here, especially if that safety isn't playing the cover 2.
From the 37-yard line, Rodgers whistles it up in the air. It is going to be
picked,
knocked away, taken away. Carlton Davis jumping in.
All right. Now, user, I know that's a book, but what is the word for questionable decision throwing it into triple coverage?
Bad read.
Bad read. Understood. Simple stuff.
Bad read. I mean, you know, a lot of times these guys, they get set on a play and they're going to do it anyway, you know. And so I already knew when I saw him motioning that post over, I'm like, he's going to try to throw that. Even though that safety wasn't in the deep blue, he was still deep enough and he was too close to the end zone that where he couldn't lead it out in front of the receiver. Therefore, you know, it was picked off.
Speaking of pickoffs and speaking of horrible reads, what a turn of events that is.
That's a good lurk right there.
Reading a book in the Baja, is he? User, you're supposed to roast me there with more Madden terminology. All right, we'll just let that one die flat, guys. Charlotte, just as I thought they're going to open the door for Houston, slams it shut with the pick 6. Let's go back over to another game that is live in action. Some of our Xbox friends getting a slow start today, but Georgia and Texas A&M finishing things up with 2:11 on the clock.
After that Raven Green pick 6, we see the Sea Green of Seattle trying to rally for Georgia right now. Only 2:09 left in this game. And obviously, user, when you're down 17, you're down 3 possessions. So this is looking very 1% chance-ish right now for Georgia.
Yeah. Nice. Picked off.
And I'd say 0% chance right about now.
Yeah, especially when, you know, you're up 3 possessions. Yes, you saw Matthew switch to the 1-4-6. The 1-4-6 is one of the toughest D to pass against, you know. And he knows only way to really go against 1-4-6 is to run the ball. So that's GG's. He's coming out on field goal block.
Jair Alexander with that pick. Very popular player in Madden these days. And this is trying to put it away. It will. Right at the 2-minute warning. Are they going to stop the clock? Yeah.
What a gentleman. What a gentleman. QB Neal. I'm slinging it here. I'm adding up the points. Is there sportsmanship at the college level of Madden? What about the pro leagues, user?
Uh, it all depends. Like we have some games where they're real cool and you respect each other. Then you have a lot of camaraderie, where people got some history and it's going to be a lot of capping. Like, nah, I'm trying to blow them out.
Yep.
So
I go back to Queen's Gambit. Here's where you just gently tip over your queen.
Nay. This is where you turn the hat backwards. You start talking the smack. Let them marinate in the hate.
Yeah.
I'd get kicked out of the tournament.
Especially if you're passing on 3rd and goal. But no, he's just going to take a series of knees. It's not that bad. But A&M getting it done. We called this one a little earlier that it looked like it would be 4-3 for A&M now, 4-3 for Georgia. So things are wide open in that conference with those two teams just a little bit above 500. Nobody's running away.
SEC is going to be fun to watch here over the next few weeks. It's a very tight race there in the middle of the pack. And remember, only the top 4 are moving on to the conference championship. So big win for Matthew Dean tonight. Joseph was looking to go up to 5 wins. It's not going to happen this week.
I saw Vanderbilt at 6-0, by the way, speaking of SEC. So life doesn't always imitate art. It's good for whoever's running Vandy at 6-0.
That's our pro player, I believe, from week 1. And I'm blanking on the name. I'll have to go through my note sheets here. But I remember Vanderbilt was blowing them out. I believe they made their opponent quit in the second half.
Tip over the queen, I'm telling you. The secure catch in the back of the end zone, well, that's not the gentlemanly procedure right there. That's on 4th down. You wing it to Funchess in the back of the end zone.
That's my guy
and run
right
it up
there.
to 38-14.
I'm a huge Matthew Dean fan after that play. You kneeled 3 times and then you exclamation mark at the end.
That's called lulling him into a false sense of security right there.
Matthew Dean, he had like he got the spread out there. About like them Eagles.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Betting on college ball. Don't advise it, guys, but get into whatever you're into. All right, here we go. Another ball in the hands of Houston,
pick.
not for long.
Savage is Savage. That's the second time we've seen him make a pick in this game. And Green Bay looking to put away Tampa Bay. Charlotte looking to put away Houston.
Yeah, John Pruitt, he's been looking good all day. His defense been looking phenomenal. His offense been cooking up out there, bunch offset. I like it.
You got to work your connections, Puck, with the producer. Find out whatever happened to those other games. We didn't see anything.
We had an Xbox Live issue. We'll get to that in a little bit later.
Oh, okay. I'm still waiting on Baylor and Texas. I'm hoping that there's some fireworks in that one. That was a fun matchup.
Yeah, I got Microsoft stock, so I'm not really talking trash on the Xbox right now.
Understood. It was a 10-point game and a chance for the put-away punch right now. And you want that Wesley clock milking here, right? Just keep running it. If you happen to score, great. If you don't score, that's time off the clock, and that's just as valuable, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is where you have to learn to, work on your clock management. Make sure you're milking the game and don't give your opponent a chance. Because a lot of these guys, remember last week, they were just slinging the ball around and end up losing the games that they should have won.
User, do you have a go-to play when you're milking the clock?
Stretch.
Stretch all day.
Stretch left, stretch right.
Okay. Just keep mixing it up on him.
Yep.
Well, this is smart. You see him taking the clock down here, the play clock down. In that upper right-hand corner. No reason to snap it until there's 1 second on that play clock. And very smart. Jamal Williams just killing some time. Wiggling around, little zigzag, little loop-de-loop. Go ahead and take your loss. Just don't lose the football. That is a productive 17-yard loss because it took, another 20 seconds off the clock.
If he misses his kick, though. We have seen some today.
Yeah, John Pruitt ain't going to miss this kick. These guys right here, I'm not going to say they're pros, but they're close to it. They're fighting in the club finals, so they know what they're doing.
Be a 46-yarder, and it'd be pretty close to the 2-minute warning, too.
As Wint pointed out, 2 club final 8 competitors here between Jonathan Pruitt and Austin Hernandez.
And I might be on the minority on this one, but to me, anybody who's gaming all the time in a warm weather climate, that shows me how focused in on this you are.
You
Because
might
to
have
me,
missed it.
I grew up in the Northeast. That ball is pushed. Oh no, it is
We're
good.
good.
It's 34-21. Yep. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, when it's snowing outside all the time and you don't want to go outside anyway, it's almost like a default setting to say, well, I'm just going to stay in and play Madden tonight. But if you're growing up in California, you're growing up in spring Texas like Austin Hernandez did, you can be outside all the time. And I'm not saying don't go outside and get exercise, and you're supposed to get your vitamin D.
Sometimes.
But it, like anything else, it's the balance, right? And I think it shows commitment to me on a beautiful night in the Houston area. You could be outside, and I mean, obviously socially distant these days and with your mask on, please. But to be this committed to stay in and work every night after you get your homework assignments done, work on your craft. I just thought that it's always easier to do that if you're growing up in like Maine or Alaska.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of really good gamers in Sweden for a reason. Iceland too actually has a lot of good ones.
Oh man.
90 seconds left in this game, and Brady's just going to float it up there. Ooh, they drag toes over there.
I ain't get it.
I would never make it as a ref in this game. All right, gentlemen, this one is coming to a close. We're going to get the updates from our producers on the rest of the games. We want to remind everybody, coming up, we got the Pac-12. We're showing you also some matches from our West and Midwest regions, as there's a lot of games still to go. We also have our match of the week. The Pac-12 battle is coming up at the end of the show. You don't want to miss that.
If you notice, my guy John Pruitt is taking away the sideline, making sure that he keeps Austin in the middle of the field so he doesn't get out of bounds, and he's going to have to use those timeouts sooner or later. Good tackle.
Yeah, under a minute to go here. I mean, you don't want to do anything silly. I get it, but you got to take a shot at some point here because you got to get that score and get the ball back. You can't just get 10, 12-yard pickups here. You're going to run out of time.
Yeah, you can take the shot, but if it ain't open, it ain't open.
Underneath is open, and then I guess it just comes down to stick work, right? I mean, you take that underneath and see if you can get some wiggle going.
Yeah. See if you can get sticky, try to get out of bounds.
Green Bay's defense solid. That's a duck. That's taken away. And that's going to seal the game. More Jair Alexander, just all over the place.
From the start to finish, I saw that John Pruitt, he was cooking up on the defense. He was out there in that bunch offset. He was looking good, and he finished the game.
34-21 is your likely final here.
And gentlemen, we want to call out the action continues next Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday, December 9th at 7 o'clock Eastern. We continue with the conference play. Remember, 4 weeks of action. We're already heading into week 3 as all of our standings are starting to shape up before our conference championships. One more play. Let's get it done here, Rogers.
Nope. Just look around and be happy with the fact you won this game.
There we
John
go.
Pruitt. Yep. We'll
take it. Another big win on the board. Charlotte is going to improve to 5-2. Houston falls to 4-3. We still have another heat to go, and we'll keep you updated on all of the other games from Heat 2. But stay tuned, guys, because coming up, I've got another big player to drop. If you need another defensive player, you're going to want to be in our chats, both here on EA Madden NFL, but also twitch.tv/levelnextgg. Your final score of that one, it was West Virginia 14, Oklahoma 24 with the W there. Heat 2's coming to a close. A lot of these were blowouts, and we'll have to follow up with all of the games that happened off stream. Kansas TCU, West Virginia versus Oklahoma was there, but we also got to follow up what happened with Baylor and Texas Tech, and Kansas State. As always, stay tuned here to Level Next and follow us on social media for all of the most recent news. User, Josh Glynn, we've seen a lot of games. User, do you have a player of the day so far? Who's been standing out the most?
John Pruitt looked good at the game, so I have to kind of see. I went against the Johnny Tran wave, and the chat got on me. So right now I'm just trying to see who's looking the best out there.
You can't get them all right, buddy. You can't get them all right. Well, Josh, we got plenty more games to come. I'll let you get your predictions in next. Prepare for the hot seat. That's coming up here, guys, on the other side of this commercial break.